Welcome back to Part 2 of the Strengthening Iowa's Child Care System webinar for non-registered child care homes with a Child Care Assistance Provider Agreement. Starting October 1, 2016, non-registered child care homes with a CCA Provider Agreement must complete a pre-service health and safety training course that has specific training topics that are identified in the federal law. The topics covered in the pre-service training include prevention and control of infectious disease, prevention of sudden infant death syndrome and safe sleep practices, administration of medication, prevention of and response to emergencies due to food and allergic reactions, building and physical premises safety, prevention of shaken baby syndrome and abusive head trauma, emergency preparedness and response planning, handling and storage of hazardous materials, and precautions in transporting children. Iowa has also chosen to include information on working with children and families of diverse backgrounds and families experiencing homelessness, as they are related to other requirements in the new law. In Iowa, we are using the title Essentials to refer to the series of courses that is being developed to cover the pre-service topics. The Essentials Health and Safety Training course will be available for free online or in person. This module-based training is in its final stages of development with our partners at Healthy Childcare Iowa and Iowa State University Extension and Outreach. Here is a sneak peek of one of the handouts offered with the modules. As soon as it is available, the department will share more information with you about the training. Additionally, all DHS field staff who are completing monitoring visits will be required to complete this same health and safety training course. This pre-service course will provide a foundation of basic health and safety information that all child care providers should be aware of. The course being developed covers all of these topics in 12 hours, so it will be the basics of each topic. You may find that you want to seek more in-depth classes about some of these specific topics after taking the pre-service training. In the future, other child care professional development agencies may develop courses that cover the pre-service topics. The department will have to approve any courses that count for the pre-service requirement, so be sure to verify that a course counts for pre-service before taking it. Once the pre-service training is available, you will be able to access it through the Iowa Child Care Provider Training Registry. This is an online system which allows you to register for classes and also keeps a record of classes you have attended when you sign up through the registry. If you do not currently have an account on the training registry, the department highly recommends that you create yourself an account now so that it will be available when you need to use it for pre-service training. Let's take a quick look at where you can do that. A link to the Iowa Child Care Provider Training Registry can be found on either the Iowa Child Care Resource and Referral webpage or on the DHS webpage within the Providers and Partners tab. Once you are on the training registry site, the menu items are on the left-hand side of the page. Clicking on the Sign In link at the bottom left will take you to a new page where you can create an account. You will need an email address to create this account. If you encounter any problems while creating your account, there is a Report a Problem link on the main page of the training registry. With this link, you can send an email to receive technical support. Now let's look at how the pre-service training will be handled once it is available to providers. For providers that submit a Child Care Assistance Provider Agreement on or after October 1, 2016, they must complete the training before the agreement can be effective. Verification that the training has been completed will need to be submitted to the Department of Human Services in order for the provider agreement to be approved. Current providers will fall into two groups. based on when their Child Care Assistance Provider Agreement renews. Group 1 is providers that have renewal dates between October 1, 2016 and September 30, 2017. They will need to complete the pre-service training before renewing their Child Care Assistance Provider Agreement. Group 2 is providers that have renewal dates between October 1, 2017 and September 30, 2018. They will need to complete the pre-service training by September 30, 2017. Any providers that do not have the pre-service training completed by September 30, 2017 may have their Child Care Assistance Provider Agreement terminated. Both providers and their approved substitutes will need to complete the pre-service training course. The Essentials pre-service training will be available for free for both child care providers and their substitutes. Any substitutes added on or after October 1, 2016 will have 90 days from time of approval to take the pre-service training. However, the substitute cannot be used until he or she has taken the training. The new federal law identifies specific areas that must be in emergency preparedness plans. The plans must include procedures for evacuation and relocation of children, shelter in place, lockdown, communication and reunification with parents or other adults responsible for the children, continuity of operations, and procedures to address the needs of individual children, including those with functional or access needs. This requirement is effective October 1, 2016. The pre-service training will provide basic information on creating emergency preparedness plans. Also, DHS is currently collaborating with key partners such as Iowa Department of Public Health Healthy Child Care Iowa, Child Care Resource and Referral, and the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management to provide guidance and suggestions to providers for developing emergency preparedness plans. The planning guide will have an emergency plan template and tools and letters that you can use and adapt to fit the needs of your child care program. However, you are not required to use these specific forms and templates. Once the planning guide is finalized, we will provide it to our child care resource and referral partners who can distribute it to child care providers. We are also sharing information about these new requirements for child care providers with county emergency management coordinators. Child care resource and referral, child care nurse consultants, and county emergency managers are great resources as you develop your emergency preparedness plans. The final area of changes this webinar will highlight is consumer education changes. The federal law has a focus on promoting family engagement through consumer education. To help parents make informed child care choices, the new law requires Iowa to make consumer education resources available electronically. DHS will provide this information to families and the public on the department's website at www.dhs.iowa.gov. Requirements include posting specific information such as the results of monitoring, inspection, and complaint reports, and what background checks are required for child care providers. Iowa must also provide information about the process for licensing, registering, and monitoring child care providers, and annual data for the number of deaths, serious injuries, and instances of substantiated child abuse that happen in child care settings. Currently, monitoring, inspection, and complaint reports for licensed centers and registered child development homes are posted on the DHS website. Starting October 1, 2016, results of monitoring and inspection visits for child care homes that aren't registered but have a Child Care Assistance Provider Agreement will also be available on the DHS website. Let's take a quick look at where this consumer information can be found. If you go to the main DHS webpage and click on the Can We Help tab, there is a heading for childcare. Once parents are on the childcare page, there are multiple menu options on the left-hand side of the page. The Tools and Resources page offers parents numerous sources of information on child care and child development. If I click on the Compliance and Complaint Reports link, it takes me to a page where I can search for reports on a child care facility. I can search for reports by name, provider ID, type of facility, county, or city. The Department of Human Services hopes that you have found this webinar on changes coming to Iowa's child care system helpful and informative. There is a frequently asked questions document available on the Iowa Child Care Resource and Referral website that can also be a resource to you. If you have additional questions, please start by contacting your local Child Care Resource and Referral office. Contact information can be found on their website at www.iowaccrr.org or by calling 1-877-216-8481.